According to Tony Busby, some of the clients that he's been representing have been contacted by investigators offering them money to basically sue the Busby law firm.
It sure started to feel like Jay-Z and his lawyers thought they had this case in the bag. Tony Busby is now fighting back, defending his Jane Doe, and things just got way messier.
Tony Busby is accusing Jay-Z and his team of attempting to bribe his client.
Jay-Z's legal troubles have just taken a major hit that nobody expected. His top lawyer, Alex Spio, is facing serious accusations of shady behavior that could change how people view courtroom corruption. He's been accused of bribing judges and tampering with witnesses, all to protect Jay-Z's perfect reputation. These serious claims have thrown his company, Roc Nation, into chaos, dragging Jay-Z even further into the mess alongside his notorious friend, Diddy. When people think of Jay-Z, they usually picture the powerful boss of Roc Nation, someone untouchable. But in the courtroom, things are starting to look far from perfect. His latest legal moves have caused huge problems, and the backlash is growing quickly. Just when it seemed like this case couldn't get worse, things got even messier. Jay-Z and Diddy are accused of being involved in an incident at a 2000 VMAs afterparty with a 13-year-old girl, a claim they both deny. Now, attorney Tony Busby is back and more determined than ever to defend his client, Jane Doe, who's accusing Jay-Z of some very serious allegations. Jay-Z's team is doing everything they can to shut this case down, threatening sanctions, bending the rules, and using the media to spin the story in their favor. Spio, leading the legal fight, has asked the court to throw out the case, calling it baseless and claiming there's no real evidence. But Busby isn't buying it. The situation is getting desperate. Jay-Z's team has filed for sanctions, arguing that the case should be dismissed because of supposed inconsistencies in Jane Doe's story. They even asked the court to speed up the process and reduce the required 21-day review period to just 1 day. Busby refused, pointing out that this kind of move shows bad faith. He also reminded everyone that Jane Doe is recalling events that happened over 20 years ago when she was only 13 years old and she has autism. Expecting perfect recall from someone in that position is not only unrealistic, it's cruel. The courts understand that abuse survivors often struggle with remembering every detail, especially after so much time has passed, and this case is no different. Things get even more complicated as Busby hints that Jay-Z's team is fighting this case not only for Jay-Z's sake, but also to protect Diddy. Despite their denials of being close, it seems Jay-Z may be doing what he can to help his longtime friend, who is also in legal trouble. Meanwhile, Jay-Z's lawyer, Alex Spio, is getting a lot of attention for his attempts to downplay the situation in the media. Spio has been trying to deny any connection between Jay-Z and Diddy, despite clear evidence of their long friendship. This approach is starting to look less convincing, as Jay-Z's legal team continues to make questionable moves, deleting posts, re-uploading statements, and even throwing around threats. Busby has called them out for trying to distort the facts and rush decisions, saying their tactics seem aggressive and possibly even illegal. It's beginning to look like Roc Nation is running out of options. Busby is known for handling messy cases, and this one is no different. He claims that Roc Nation's legal team has been involved in some underhanded tactics, including bribery, illegal requests, and outright intimidation. These actions are allegedly connected to attempts to obstruct justice in a separate case involving Diddy. According to Busby, this could involve burner phones, fake badges, and bribes totaling $110,000. But the mess doesn't end there. Busby's lawsuit also points out how Roc Nation's team tried to manipulate his former clients into suing him. One of these attempts involved agents pretending to be state officials and offering up to $10,000 to get Busby's former client to file a lawsuit against him. Busby claims that this wasn't a one-time incident. These tactics were used more than 24 times. What's even more shocking is that Busby says he has evidence, including tapes of these supposed investigators flashing fake badges and pressuring people to turn against him. One of Busby's former clients, Gerardo Garcia, came forward with his story. He said 2 agents showed up at his house, pretending to work for the state of Texas, and pressured him to dig up old legal documents and accuse Busby of mishandling his 2020 settlement. When Garcia refused to go along with it, the agents allegedly offered him money to switch sides. Instead of taking the money, Garcia reported the incident to Busby's firm. One of the agents even slipped up and mentioned she worked for an attorney tied to Roc Nation. Marcy Croft, a key member of Roc Nation's legal team, is allegedly at the center of this whole scheme, working alongside the powerful law firm Quinn Emanuel, which represents JayZ in various cases. If these allegations are true, both firms could face serious consequences. It's a huge contradiction, as Roc Nation has built a reputation for fighting for justice, but these accusations of fake badges and hush money paint a very different picture. At the heart of all of this is JayZ. While he hasn't been directly accused of orchestrating any of these actions, his name keeps appearing in the lawsuits. Busby's team claims that Roc Nation's tactics are part of a larger effort to block investigations into Diddy's ongoing legal issues. With everything going on, JayZ certainly doesn't need more drama. Busby even questioned why JayZ's team is so defensive, suggesting that their aggressive tactics only raise more suspicions. It's starting to feel like the problems at Roc Nation go deeper than anyone thought. According to Tony Busby, these allegations could reveal a much larger network of legal misconduct. If the claims hold up in court, the Roc Nation team and their top lawyers could face serious legal consequences. This situation doesn't look good for JayZ either, especially since he is already dealing with multiple controversies. But is there more to this story than just these lawsuits? Things get even more complicated when Busby suggests that this could be part of a bigger plot involving not only JayZ's legal team but also Diddy's ongoing legal troubles. Busby alleges that Roc Nation has been using its resources to interfere with ongoing investigations that involve both JayZ and Diddy. The tactics, according to Busby, allegedly include creating fake documents, making secret recordings, and possibly running a slush fund for these operations. This is not the first time that JayZ's legal team has been accused of underhanded tactics. In the past, similar cases have involved accusations of hardball strategies to intimidate opposing lawyers and witnesses. It seems like this behavior could be a pattern. But it's JayZ's aggressive approach to defending himself that has everyone talking, and not in a good way.
Carter Camp never releases statements. They do not talk about what people talk about there. Even when Solange put hands on that man, they were, "Mom, all we got was a bar in a song." But they peaked quickly here.
He came out swinging in response to these lawsuits, but his approach was anything but subtle. Instead of the usual polished legal denials, JayZ went into full-on Brooklyn brawler mode. He started by calling the accusations ridiculous, claiming the lawsuit was nothing but a blackmail attempt. JayZ wasn't just denying any wrongdoing, he was positioning himself as the real victim. His message was loud, bold, and clear. This case was about an attempt to grab attention and money at his expense.
Clients that he's been representing have been contacted by investigators offering them money to basically sue the Busby law firm. Busby feels very confident that this is on behalf of JayZ and Diddy.
He didn't stop there. JayZ even filed a countersuit against Tony Busby, accusing him of defamation and blackmail. To make his point even clearer, he threw in a reminder of his Brooklyn roots, signaling that he wasn't the type to back down. His message seemed to scream, "Don't mess with me."
Investigators from New York asking questions about why they're making content on Diddy and offering them money to make different content. Secret Service Samson, who I will tag below, is one of those people. But what's really interesting is that the investigators reaching out to these victims are also from New York. And you can't help but wonder, are those two things connected?
However, many people felt that this move only made him appear shadier, not more innocent. Busby, on the other hand, didn't seem scared by JayZ's aggressive response. Instead, he doubled down on his accusations. He claimed that JayZ's legal team had been harassing him and trying to intimidate him into silence. Busby even posted an old photo of himself from his days in the Marines, with a bold caption that read, "I'm still that guy. I won't be bullied or intimidated. People will see through these attempts to discredit me and my clients, and the truth will come out." He also promised that he wouldn't let anyone scare his clients into staying quiet. Then things got even more intense. According to Busby, investigators have been approaching his clients, offering them cash to file lawsuits against his law firm. These aren't isolated incidents. Multiple people have come forward claiming they were approached by investigators from New York. If these claims are true, and they connect to Jay-Z's legal team, it could be a huge scandal. And if it's true that money is being offered to encourage lawsuits, that crosses into illegal and unethical territory. Busby has promised to fight back, vowing to expose every shady move in this case. Meanwhile, Jay-Z's lawyer, Alex Spio, has been on a rampage, filing multiple motions trying to force the alleged victim, Jane Doe, to go public with her story. But this aggressive approach didn't go as planned. It was quickly shot down by a judge in New York, Annalisa Torres, in what's called a bench slap, a public chastisement that's meant to embarrass the lawyer and send a message that such tactics are not acceptable. The judge was clear in her decision: a legal process can't be rushed just because a powerful celebrity like Jay-Z wants it to be. She also warned that if his team violated court rules again, they could face sanctions. This was a significant blow to Spio's approach. Other legal experts, like Lauren Johnson Norris, have weighed in, suggesting that Spio's aggressive moves seem more focused on keeping Jay-Z happy than actually helping his case. They argue that his actions are more about damage control than a sound legal strategy. Meanwhile, Jay-Z's attempt to rush through the case hasn't gone unnoticed. People are starting to see it for what it is: intimidation. Not just of Jane Doe, but of anyone else who might be considering speaking out. This isn't just about one case, it's about setting an example that says, "Don't even think about challenging us." It's a bad look for Jay-Z's team and definitely not the image they want to portray. When Judge Torres speaks, even billionaires like Jay-Z must pay attention. She also denied Spio's request to fast-track motions to dismiss the case, and she made it clear that the legal process would proceed on its own timeline, without being pushed by Jay-Z's legal team. This was another sign that Jay-Z's aggressive tactics weren't working. The court emphasized that any further violations of legal rules could result in penalties. While Jay-Z's legal team is struggling, Diddy isn't exactly in the clear either. There are disturbing allegations surrounding his so-called Wild King nights. According to a former personal assistant who worked for Diddy from 2019 to 2021, these parties were filled with debauchery, things like ice buckets, sex toys, and even bribing hotel staff to stay quiet about what went down. The assistant also claims he was forced into loyalty tests that involved crossing personal boundaries. These disturbing details paint a troubling picture of Diddy's lifestyle and raise more questions about his legal troubles. Despite all of this, Jay-Z did get a small win. He was given the green light by Judge Torres to file a motion to dismiss the explosive lawsuit against him. His legal team now has until February 6, 2025, to submit their argument for why the case should be thrown out. After that, Jane Doe's side gets their turn, and Spio will have to respond by mid-March. The stakes are incredibly high. If the allegations hold up, they could severely damage Jay-Z's reputation and put Roc Nation's future in jeopardy. His image as a business mogul and philanthropist is already under fire, and this case could be the tipping point. Tony Busby, however, isn't backing down. He's promised to bring the truth to light, and people are waiting to see what happens next. Public opinion is divided. Some think this is the beginning of Jay-Z's downfall, while others believe he'll manage to get past this legal hurdle. Either way, this case is far from over.